Nestled in the Welsh countryside is Llwyn Celyn, a building that stood for centuries.
Oh my goodness, what is in there?
It's lain empty for years and is on the verge of collapse.
This place is falling through our fingers like sand, and if we don't do something about it, it will be gone, and then we can never get it back.
Anna Kay is head of buildings charity, the Landmark Trust, who've raised over £4 million to rescue and renovate the building.
Nothing in this roof that's square or upright.
The thing about Llwyn Celyn is that we've made a massive leap of faith, if you like, with this building. We didn't know when it was built or who by. We didn't know what its function was. We took it on in the belief that this is a really important place.
Despite knowing so little about Llwyn Celyn's history, they believe that its size, form, and surviving original features could make it one of the most important buildings of its kind in Wales.
Oh my goodness, look at that.
Part history detectives, part project managers, Anna and her team will use original techniques and materials to restore the building to its former glory.
So these are all ones that we salvaged from the original roof?
Whilst using the latest scientific research to uncover the historic secrets that will justify such a massive investment.
No. Is that right?
All in time for the official opening by the Prince of Wales.
Things that worry me are the things that we don't yet know about, the unknowns.
At the foot of the Black Mountains, a stone's throw from the Welsh-English border, lies Llwyn Celyn. Until recently, it's been used as a farmhouse. Along with the main building, there are 4 outhouses and 2 substantial barns, and it sits in over 20 acres of land. The house could be anything from 450 to 600 years old. For historian Anna Kay, one thing is certain. It's on the brink of ruin.
Well, there's no getting away from the fact that this house is in a pretty dismal state. Ceilings are collapsing, the wall surfaces are peeling away, the various wall surfaces. The water comes flowing through here like a river. You know, it's only hanging on by its fingernails, really. But you have to look beyond that. You have to look beyond that, because what is actually behind all the collapsing, peeling, soggy surfaces is the most sensational house.
Incredibly, Llwyn Celyn still bristles with medieval detail.
These are the most perfect door heads, beautifully carved, and here they are still.
It's original features like these that have convinced the Landmark Trust that this is a truly special building, despite knowing so little about its origin.
There are still quite big things that we really don't know about this place, really important things. For example, who it was built for, exactly what function it performed originally. And I think probably the real key to all of that, and the single thing I'd most like to know, is exactly when it was built.
Some experts believe it may have been built around 1480, but if Anna and her team can discover the exact year, it will go a long way to justifying their belief that Llwyn Celyn is worth rescuing.
It is actually about establishing what we believe in our sort of guts to be the case, which is that this is a really, really important building. It's not just any other farmhouse. Because if it's any other farmhouse, why on earth are we spending nearly £5 million on it? It's our faith that it isn't, and that it has a story and a kind of provenance that makes it equal to things you might see in the British Museum, that is the reason that we're here and we are, you know, on the trail of Llwyn Celyn.
The Prince of Wales is the patron of the Trust, and he's come to visit before renovation work even begins. The Trust specialise in transforming ruined buildings of historic importance into unique places to stay.
When you lose a building, it's gone forever. You can't get it back. They're gone. And with them, it's actually our ability to touch the lives and the experience of our ancestors.
In April 2016, the restoration begins. The first stage is to strip the building back to uncover as much of its history and original features as possible. So Anna, architect John Goom, and the Trust surveyor Richard Burton are all eager to investigate what's been covered up.
The thing about old buildings is that they hold their story within them often, and you need to sort of prize that out, tease that out of them. Ah! Don't break it. Are we going to keep it?
The 1960s fireplace is removed.
Well, ever since I first came to this building, which was 3 years ago, I've been absolutely longing to see what's behind this fireplace. So it's really exciting.
A second layer of brickwork is stripped away to reveal signs of a Victorian range, over 100 years old.
This is the exciting part. Well, because we knew that there was a range there, but it's what lies behind that that's the unknown.
As stone and brick are removed, further layers of history are revealed. The original flue, unseen for over a century.
You can see perfectly the whole of the interior of the chimney as originally built in whenever it was, 1600 or something. I can see the jackdaw's nests up there.
But the fireplace has even more secrets to reveal.
Oh, there's a void.
Hang on.
Oh my goodness, what is in there?
There is a bread oven. Can we have a bit more?
Oh, this is very exciting.
We have a bread oven. We do have a bread oven.
Oh, absolutely.
We do have a bread oven.
Brilliant. You can see all the stone horsing in the back.
Yeah.
What an amazing thing.
Enormous rounded one.
Old fireplaces can be historical treasure troves. Discoveries like these at the very start of the project go some way to supporting Anna's faith in the building's historic value. The fireplace can now be repaired and preserved for centuries to come.
We want people to be able to light fires again in that fireplace, so that will all work quite well with having that. There's no problem with having the bread oven with that.
Yeah, I think that will work absolutely fine.
Llwyn Celyn's main building currently has a ground floor hall and kitchen and 2 bedrooms on the first floor. Adjacent is the derelict solar wing, with 2 unusable ground floor storerooms and on the first floor, what were once 2 bedrooms. But its original layout was very different. Llwyn Celyn is a rare surviving example of a hall house, a medieval type of building usually built any time between the 11th and 17th centuries. Originally, the main building would not have had a first floor, and instead was one great hall, open to the roof. This would have been the building's social hub, a space for dining, welcoming visitors, conducting business, and for the servants to sleep. The solar wing contained the private rooms of the master of the house. Llwyn Celyn is the Landmark Trust's 200th renovation project, and at £4 million, by far its most expensive. The Trust was set up to save unique historic buildings to help people connect with the past.
This magical little building is called Warden Abbey. It's in Bedfordshire. It still stands as a wonderful little kind of echo of the past, a little sort of sentinel in a field of an age completely gone.
A fragment of a medieval monastery, Warden Abbey was later absorbed into a grand Tudor house. The house has a 900-year history, but before its renovation had suffered fires, structural collapses, and just like Llwyn Celyn, was on the verge of collapse.
Easy to stand in a building like Llwyn Celyn and just feel defeated by it, like it's just beyond retrieving. But then looking back at what's happened in the past and the buildings that we have managed to save gives you faith that it is possible to do it.
And if Llwyn Celyn can be rescued, like Warden Abbey, it won't become a museum. It will be a unique place to stay that will be open to everyone.
The way we do things is creating a place where people feel transported somehow. You're pushing through the coats in the back of the wardrobe like the Pevensey children into a new, different world. And that's a very delicate thing to try and pull off.
But before desperately needed structural work begins, conservation manager Alistair Dick Cleland and ecologist Richard Crompton arrive to investigate something lurking in the attic.
What we call a night feeding perch.
Yes, great piles of droppings.
That's right. Very distinctive, small droppings composed entirely of insect fragments.
Yeah.
The house has some unwelcome visitors.
If you look through this hole in the floor,
Right.
and look right up to the ridge, you might just be able to spot a couple of little plum-shaped objects.
Oh, another one there.
That's it.
Yes.
A couple of our lesser horseshoe bats.
Right.
Lesser horseshoe bats are heavily protected by UK law. Renovation work cannot proceed until they've been safely moved to alternative accommodation. All efforts to save Llwyn Celyn are halted before they even begin. Close to the English-Welsh border is Llwyn Celyn, a rare surviving example of a medieval hall house. It's thought to be between 450 and 600 years old, but its exact age is not known. Anna Kay, director of the Landmark Trust, is convinced that Llwyn Celyn is a building of great importance. She's leading a £4 million project with two objectives: to uncover the building's historic secrets and rescue it before it's lost forever.
If we weren't doing this project and this place was left as it has been for 2 or 3 more years, I really don't think this house would exist. We are actually saving it from destruction, and that feels so urgent.
But the discovery of rare and strictly protected lesser horseshoe bats has halted work to save this historic building.
The fact that we have got bats, how are we going to manage that?
And people often say to you, oh, goodness, if you've got bats in your roof, you can't do anything about them. Now, actually, that's not true. It is, in fact, possible to move bats on, but it just has to be done in the right way to not fall foul of the law.
Yeah.
All work to save Llwyn Celyn is now on hold. To comply with bat protection legislation, alternative accommodation must be built for the bats before they can be moved. It's going to cost a lot of time and money.
It is pretty frustrating, it has to be said, when we've managed to raise nearly £4.5 million and we're on site and we really can't get on with restoring the house until we've built the new 5-star bat accommodation. So that's a real frustration, and it's holding us up already.
Part of a ruined outbuilding that was once used to produce and store cider must now be converted into a bespoke bat roost. It's designed to provide these rare creatures with the perfect living conditions. And until this work is complete, stonemason Ash and his colleagues cannot begin to save the main house.
That's the front door. The idea is that they swoop up and go up in there. Whether it'll work, I don't know. Let's have somebody. Conservation jobs can't be rushed, and we've got a saying on the firm, it's done when it's done and it's ready when it's ready.
Work on the bat roost goes on for 6 months.
They'll all come from the main house, hopefully, into this part here. We can start taking the roof off the old house then, and we should not disturb them, because that's what it's all about, not disturbing the bats.
As summer turns to autumn, Anna returns to find out if all the time and money spent on the bats has been worth it.
Haven't been to site for 3 months, but we've had some real progress, so I want to see that.
The cider house has been converted into a bat roost.
Oh my goodness. So this must be the amazing bat tower. It's hollow on the inside, and then there's all these funny kind of crevices which the bats are going to go in. So it's sort of like a fake interior of a building or a cave or something that the bats are going to immediately take to. And it's quite sort of weird, really. It's a sort of surreal structure. But anyway, apparently it's what they like.
Before work can begin for humans, Anna needs evidence that the new bat roost is being used.
So, this is the roof space. And there's bits of white paper put around which are to catch any new bat droppings. And in here, on the floor, there are lots of bat droppings that have been put here deliberately to try and encourage bats to feel that this is, you know, their kind of place. So if I shine my torch, none on there. Ooh. Oh my goodness, look at that. Loads of bat droppings on here. 1, 2, 3, 4, maybe 6.
These bat droppings are the proof Anna needs that the bat problem has been solved.
The first time in my life that I've been really excited to see a single bat dropping, because on this tiny little bit of bat guano, our whole project hinges.
Six months after work to move the bats began, and with winter fast approaching, the team begins saving Llwyn Celyn. Over centuries, earth from the hillside has built up against the side of the house, causing water to run through the building when it rains.
We've done big projects, but there's a lot to take on. There's a lot of earth to come out of here, something like 300 to 400 tonne of soil. 14, Rich.
Wherever possible, the Trust want to renovate using techniques and materials that are sympathetic to the building's history. Original sandstone roof tiles that have lasted centuries are removed and, where possible, saved for later use.
And now we're in the process of just sorting through them, really, because, you know, they're like gold dust anyway.
The house continues to reveal details and features that have survived the test of time.
500 years ago, they would have put an oak peg in the hole rather than an aluminium one. And probably all has changed.
Once the tiles are off, master carpenters can attempt to restore the original hand-carved oak roof trusses. After decades of neglect, they are on the verge of collapse. 60 meters of new oak beams are cut to size, designed to dovetail into the originals and preserve as much as possible of this historic roof.
Big lump of timber, the main beam through the bottom. Yeah, it's a 10 by 12 inch, and it's 6.5 meters long. Yeah, it's some serious weight there. You wouldn't want to try and tackle it by yourself.
Exterior stonework is repaired using local red sandstone from nearby quarries, and lime mortar that, unlike cement, allows the building to breathe. Now Anna has returned, as another architectural detail, hidden for centuries, has been unearthed.
Really, really exciting thing is we've just discovered a window, perhaps an original window, in the gable wall of the main house itself, in the solar wall. And it is possibly a 15th century window.
The exact age of the house, or identity of its original owner, is still not known. But each new discovery could bring the team one step closer to proving their theory that this really is a building of great historic value. Spending a lot of money just to enjoy a view suggests that the original owner was rich and powerful.
This is the window opening here, and not only can you identify where you've got a straight joint and an opening's been filled in, but the inside splay of the window's there, and it's got plaster layer on it. In fact, it looks like it's got 2 layers. The likelihood is that it is pretty early, this window, therefore, and it might be what we call primary, which is it might be part of the original design of the building that there would be a window here.
A lot of craft went into creating this window, and it can now be opened up, and a view that was enjoyed for centuries appreciated once again. Inside, much of Llwyn Celyn's original wooden framework is rotten. Oak was the medieval building timber of choice. And to repair the house's ancient skeleton, conservation carpenter Simon Bufton is using techniques a 15th century craftsman would recognise.
This type of work is all by hand, where it's all to do with chisels, mallets, planes, and pair of hands.
As work continues, another view into the past is revealed.
The exciting thing about being here this week is that it is the only time, more or less, in the last 500 years when it's been possible to see an original feature of the building. So if you follow me over here, above my head here, you can see through where the floor above has been taken up into the roof space. And the reason that's so exciting is that when Llwyn Celyn was built, the main structure, the main feature of the site was a single double-height Great Hall, of which only now a divided part remains.
As a medieval hall house, Llwyn Celyn's main hall would have been open to the ceiling. The first floor would have been added much later, along with a central fireplace and chimney, probably in the 17th century. Anna and the team intend to reinstate this section of the first floor once the beams have been restored. But for these few days, it's a rare opportunity to experience the building in its original form.
When the people who lived here in the 15th century were sitting down to their dinner, they would have had this view right up into the magnificent roof itself and then down to the end of the room. And it is one of the joys of these projects is that the opportunity of taking the building to pieces to mend is one which gives you the chance to glimpse moments of the building's past which have been lost for centuries.
Lower Brockhampton Manor in Herefordshire offers a rare chance to experience a medieval hall open to the roof. Now Anna's come to experience just how Llwyn Celyn used to be.
It is actually really spooky because this must have been exactly what the Llwyn Celyn Hall was like before our floor was put across. To see the scale here and to see what the impact of this magnificent roof is, it is wonderful to see what it once must have been.
There are other historical parallels between here and Llwyn Celyn.
This big fireplace we've got here now is later, as our fireplaces at Llwyn Celyn, and both of them originally had a central hearth, an open hearth on the middle of the floor, and the fire crackled away there and the smoke wafted up. And it's easy to think of an arrangement with an open hearth as being rather kind of rustic and sort of, you know, slightly sort of barbarian, but it absolutely wasn't. Henry VIII at Hampton Court Palace, later than both these buildings, had an open hearth in the middle of his great hall, and the smoke did the same. And it wasn't because they couldn't build chimneys, they knew perfectly well how to build chimneys. It's because this was what a great hall had. This was a sign of your sort of ancient lordship, that this was the way in which you arranged things and you entertained.
Brockhampton is known to be nearly 600 years old. But Anna still doesn't know when Llwyn Celyn was built, or by whom. She and her colleagues estimate it was built in the 1480s, but until now could not be sure. Now a brand new scientific technique of dating medieval timber might provide an exact date. In an effort to discover the origins of Llwyn Celyn, core samples have been sent for analysis. As work to save the house continues, Anna and the team can only wait and hope for an answer to when Llwyn Celyn was built. Conservation charity the Landmark Trust are working to rescue Llwyn Celyn, a Grade 1 listed building on the Welsh-English border. No one knows when it was built, but it's thought to be in the late 15th century. One of the biggest jobs is repairing its huge roof, which is made up of hand-cut stone tiles, some over 500 years old. Leading the project is Anna Kay, who is on her way to Callow Quarry, less than 10 miles from Llwyn Celyn, where thousands of replacement tiles must be sourced.
One of the real joys of Llwyn Celyn is its roofs. The main house has got this fantastic sandstone tiled roof. And we're able to reuse almost all the unbroken tiles on that roof as we mend it, but that still leaves us quite a lot short. So the hope is that we can fill those gaps with new stone tiles that are very similar to the old ones and which are lifted out of the ground just a few miles away from the house.
Llwyn Celyn's tiles are being extracted and shaped using techniques similar to those used hundreds of years ago.
Hello, hello, I'm Anna, hi.
Nice to meet you.
How you doing?
I'm Billy.
Hi, Billy.
Hi.
So look, it's just coming out like in great big pieces like this.
We've been quarrying here for 17 years.
Okay, so you're not going to run out?
No.
That's good news.
Energy we're running out of.
I don't believe that.
It looks like this is going to be a tile there. We removed this bit, which wasn't ideal.
Yeah.
But that looked far more promising.
Yeah, it looks lovely, doesn't it, that piece?
Yeah.
Very
Could be
even and...
2 tiles, perhaps. Only another 2,000 to go.
Sandstone is a sedimentary rock, which means that it was laid down and compressed in layers. This makes it possible to dig it up in flat slabs that can be turned into tiles.
Yeah, that's really good. Perfect.
Oh, that one worked. Oh, look at that. Isn't that beautiful?
That's 440 million years old, Anna. Hasn't been seen before, so you're the first person to see that.
It looks like it's been painted to look like that.
Here's where we make the tiles in our little tile shed.
There's no machines anywhere, is there?
No machines.
No.
A local quarry just like this one would have provided thousands of tiles for Llwyn Celyn
like
in the
that.
15th century.
So I try and do it by eye as much as I can.
To shape the original tiles, medieval quarrymen would have used similar methods to Billy.
I'm just trying to think how many tiles like this Llwyn Celyn would take.
Yeah, well, I'm estimating 9,000 tiles.
How many of these do you get through a day when you're doing this?
50, 60 a
Wow,
day.
really?
And then you've had enough. That's the way old the stone as well. That's good. Yes,
Hey!
look
Oh.
at that. Doesn't matter. Lovely. I think you're a natural. And that's a tile that you have helped make for Llwyn Celyn.
It's so timeless, isn't it? I mean, this must have been exactly what was happening, you know, in the reign of Richard III.
Yeah, nothing's changed.
Over half the tiles needed at Llwyn Celyn will be reused originals. The rest will come from this quarry and range in size from 3 foot by 2 foot for large surface areas to 7 inches by 6 inches for corners and edges.
It's wonderful seeing Billy and his guys at work on those pieces of stone because actually Billy and his colleagues as craftsmen have a kind of hotline to the past that those of us who are not actual doers just don't have, and it makes talking to them and seeing them at work pure pleasure.
Back at Llwyn Celyn, craftsmen still have a tremendous amount of work to do before the house is remotely habitable. Originally, all cooking would have taken place in the main Great Hall. Over time, extra buildings were added to the house, including a kitchen wing at the back. A key part of the plan for Llwyn Celyn is to transform this ancient extension into a modern kitchen.
What I want you to do is just have a look at the kitchen, just to measure it up so that we can manufacture it.
John Evitts is in charge of fitting out and furnishing the property
Anyway, it's in here.
and ensuring modern additions are in keeping with the building's historic aesthetic.
The kitchen is at the end here. We've got the outline of it, and I just want you to measure up these spaces where we're going to put the units.
John uses a network of craftsmen to create bespoke furnishings containing all mod cons.
This is where these sort of properties get quite interesting. There's nothing in this room that's square or upright. Straight away, that's not 90 degrees. I don't think that's probably 90 degrees there. You've got to work all these things out and make sure that you're correct at the end of the day, because you look a bit of a wally if it doesn't fit.
Mark Smitten will hand make the kitchen furniture off-site.
And what I'm thinking is that we'll have the white goods under here, dishwasher and everything else.
The house will be made available for guests to rent, so John must tread a fine line between sensitive renovation and practical modernisation.
We do everything else, you know, as it might have been at the time the building was built, but our kitchens and bathrooms are modern. Priorities are that everything should be where you want them to be. You won't know where the cups and saucers live, or where the pots and pans live, or where, you know, where the fridge is necessarily. And you don't want to spend your entire holiday opening and closing cupboards looking for the garlic crusher.
Anna is also on site to check on progress.
Hey, John.
Hi, Anna.
So, kitchen?
Yeah.
Doesn't feel much like a kitchen yet, does it?
No, but it's going to be all right. We've been measuring up today.
Upstairs, the original window that Anna last saw blocked up has been opened and now gives a view not seen for centuries.
One of the best views you could ever wish for. Anyway, that's going to be lovely, isn't it, people? Are you going to put we can have a little cushion on one of those nice window seats?
Do I look like a cushion sort of a person?
The repair of Llwyn Celyn's ancient roof continues well into summer. Paul Steele, the principal roofer, has now been working on it for 9 months.
Oh, yeah? Hi. These are a lovely detail.
Welsh Open Valley, yeah. The first one we did took quite a while.
Yeah.
In an era before lead was commonly available, the Welsh Open Valley technique was used to ensure junctions in the roof were watertight. Determined to preserve as much as possible of the building's historical integrity, craftsmen like Paul have researched every last detail.
We just searched online and found a picture. And that's all we've had to follow, just one picture, that's all we can find.
So you've had to literally kind of work back the geometry of it from the picture?
Yeah.
Golly.
Just like the original roofers, centuries before him, Paul has used a traditional triple overlap technique, which uses up thousands of tiles, and where possible, reusing those that have survived the test of time. The roof weighs around 58 tons.
You have that underneath, the two above.
That's 3 overlapping there, isn't it?
Yeah, but they do overlap 3 times.
So these are all ones that we salvaged from the original roof?
Yeah.
What proportion were you able actually to reuse?
It's probably around about 2/3, I'd say.
Okay, so that's pretty good. It's pretty amazing to see it all now.
Well, I just enjoy this kind of work because, like you say, it is like a jigsaw puzzle, so in a way it's therapeutic.
Is it? I think it's absolutely extraordinary what you've done here. The way it catches the light and the shadows that you see. It's so beautiful. Yeah. Now it looks like it lasts 1,000 years.
Thank you.
Anna and her team are trying to uncover the history of Llwyn Celyn's past as it's renovated. Until now, it's not been possible to discover a precise date for when it was built. It could be anything from 450 to 600 years old. And Anna has always believed that the 1480s is the most likely. Now there's hope that a brand new high-tech approach might deliver a definitive answer.
The timber samples from Llwyn Celyn have been sent here to Swansea University, where some very exciting, completely new science is being done on timber, which I'm really hoping might finally give us a date for the building. Hi, Neil.
Neil Loader is part of a team pioneering a groundbreaking scientific technique that has never previously been used to date a building, but might just give Anna the answers she wants.
So this is where it all happens.
I've got a piece of wood here under the microscope, which is a subsample from the core that we took from Llwyn Celyn. If you have a look, you'll be able to see...
So that under there is, as it were, a little thin version of that.
A subsection of this core.
So when you look at this, then, which bit is the bit that's most useful to you?
So for us, we're interested in the dense, darker part of the tree ring.
Rings are the record of a tree's life, each one signifying a single year's growth. As the tree grows, unique levels of an oxygen isotope are locked into each ring. It's these isotope levels that Neil is looking for. To get them, samples have to be processed and then analysed in a mass spectrometer.
And this is one of our samples, so this is from Llwyn Celyn.
Indeed, yeah.
I can't believe that this is the graph that's going to give us the date.
Once results from Llwyn Celyn's oak beams are compared with a master database, Anna will discover exactly when the house was built.
The incredible thing is that this tiny, minuscule little blob of what looks like tinfoil, something you might find in the bottom of your jeans pocket, contains the information that is going to give us a date for Llwyn Celyn, finally. And it seems almost unimaginable because our roof is so huge and so heavy and this thing is so absolutely tiny. But Neil says that it does give him the data he needs. And so after 5 years, I'm going to learn what I've been longing to know, which is, when was that building built?
For 2 years, conservation charity the Landmark Trust have been restoring a medieval house on the Welsh-English border called Llwyn Celyn. Anna and the team are convinced it's a medieval masterpiece, but despite raising over £4 million to rescue the building, they still don't know when it was built or for whom. They've worked on the assumption that it might have been built in the 1480s, but now a pioneering analysis of the house's oak beams might just provide an exact date.
So Neil, just how confident are you about this date, that it's definitely right?
The chances of this happening in error are tens of thousands to one.
Oh, okay, that's exciting.
So these are the results, and I thought that perhaps you'd be interested in what we found.
Oh. I don't know, it feels incredibly nervous. No. Is that right?
Yes, we verified this as well with...
1420?
Yep.
That's amazing.
Exactly. So
that's about 60 years earlier than we even... How extraordinary.
Anna has always known the building was somewhere between 450 and 600 years old, but now at last has an exact date for when Llwyn Celyn was built.
So I'm feeling a bit speechless after this extraordinary revelation about the date. It's really so different in a wonderful way to what we had imagined so much earlier, that it really requires a big rethink. And lots of ideas going through my head, because the early 15th century, the 1420s, which is where we now are, is a whole different context, because there'd just been essentially a civil war in Wales, a great uprising against the English, and masses of buildings were destroyed. And maybe this is what our building is about. Maybe it was part of this rebuilding, this reconstruction after all that turmoil. But I need to get some fresh air and to think about it all very carefully before we jump to any conclusions. But it is super exciting.
The Welsh uprising began in 1400, led by Owain Glyndŵr, who proclaimed himself Prince of Wales and rapidly took over much of the country. For over 10 years, war and insecurity ravaged the borderlands around Llanthony Priory, which owned the land on which Llwyn Celyn was later built. The area was raided repeatedly, and the priory almost destroyed as the English wrestled back control. However, in 1420, the priory may still have been rich enough to build a house like Llwyn Celyn. If Llwyn Celyn is 60 years older than previously thought, then this makes it one of the oldest surviving houses in Wales. But who built it, and why? Edward Impey, a specialist in medieval buildings, has arrived to help Anna weigh up the evidence.
It does all look great, I must say. Great roofing job.
So the big excitement is that as of literally a few days ago, we've got a date. It's given us 1420, and I suppose that means that we're looking at we're just looking at a different 2 generations earlier than we thought.
We are. I mean, I think it's a very, very interesting period, because that's after this part of the country has been ravaged and the land is almost worthless. So somebody with a lot of money is coming here and building a house. Great expense. It's a grand house. It's got to have a jolly good reason for doing it.
I find that so exciting if that works. But listen, come and have a look inside,
Yeah.
because I want to know whether you still think that once you've seen some of the detail.
Yeah, let's go and have a look.
The house's surviving medieval details could hold clues to who built it.
So obviously this feature's quite interesting.
It is, yes.
Yeah.
Medieval rooms very often had built-in furniture, in other words, in the walls.
Yeah.
And you can see this has had doors fitted to it. It's for something important. And I wonder if it's a book cupboard, because book niches are quite a common feature in medieval houses and in monastic buildings.
Yeah. It's got to be pretty precious, whatever you're...
And books are valuable.
Something catches Edward's eye, above shields, probably designed to display the owner's coat of arms.
There's another very interesting feature which you can see here, which is this piece of cornice. That cornice would have run all the way along this wall, to that far corner over there. I think it's probably related to what is called a dais canopy.
The canopy would have gone above the dais, a raised area set aside for the master of the house and other people of high status. In the hallway are 2 beautifully carved oak door heads that the restoration team believe were original features that have survived the test of time.
Now that we know the roof is 1420, looking at these, are these also 1420 then? Does that work?
Yeah, I think it works very well. And particularly those details. You see the leaning in curved detailing, which is called a mouchette. That's a classic thing of that period.
This thing
that
here?
Bit, yeah. So it's very exciting to have the date plus all this stylistic stuff in one place.
Coming back to the issue of who it was built for, what is it saying to you in terms of its quality that might inform a supposition about who built it?
Well, a lot. I mean, that's very, very good work. And that's expensive. A craftsman doing that's paid a lot. So this isn't a yeoman farmer, this isn't a tenant, this is somebody who's got a lot of money and can spend it all at once on one building, one big building. The priory itself's been burnt, or partly burnt.
Yeah.
So what do? They send somebody out here to build a house, supervise the regeneration of the estate, and to act as a kind of substitute place for meeting people now that the priory is no longer suitable for purpose. Well, that's being rebuilt.
So it could be that Llwyn Celyn was used by the prior, the head of Llanthony Priory.
So you can imagine after 1420, when the local priory here recovers a bit, you can imagine the prior of this Llanthony would have come and spent time in this house rather than in the priory.
Yeah.
Classic, normal pattern. So that again makes sense, doesn't it?
Wow.
Anna now has a date of construction and a theory that the house was built by the prior of Llanthony as part of a regeneration project at the end of the Welsh Rebellion. 600 years after Llwyn Celyn was built, a new team of craftsmen are attempting to preserve the building's ancient details whilst ensuring it lasts another 6 centuries. Over 2 years have passed since work began. In 2015, it was a leaking, perilous ruin with rare bats in the attic. As summer blooms, Anna returns to see the progress that's been made.
It's really, really exciting to be coming here today because I haven't been here for a couple of months. I can't wait to see it. I can't wait to see what it is actually like.
For the first time in over 2 decades, the scaffolding and plastic protecting Llwyn Celyn from the elements is gone, revealing the house to Anna for the first time. Rescued from the hillside, it has a fantastic new roof of ancient and freshly quarried tiles.
It's like a sort of butterfly coming out of its chrysalis and looking absolutely dazzling. We took this building on more than 5 years ago, but we never actually really seen it because it's been under the scaffolding the whole time. It has survived, and it's more than that, it's kind of been revived. And it makes me feel quite emotional about it, actually, and I look at all the guys here on site who are doing all the work and who've kind of lovingly effected this amazing rescue, and I think of all the effort that's gone into it and the journey that it has been so far, and it feels extraordinary.
The house has been saved. But a vast amount of work still needs to be done to bring the interior back to life.
It's one thing to mend the masonry and deal with the roof. It's another thing completely to make this into a wonderful place for people actually to live in. The job that John's yet got to do here is a massive one, and the clock now is firmly ticking.
Anna now knows that Llwyn Celyn was built nearly 600 years ago, and has a theory regarding for whom. But many questions remain about those who lived here in the centuries that followed, and the transformations that occurred as the building evolved through time. There's still a long way to go before she can be confident that the decision to rescue and renovate this medieval masterpiece will have paid off.
Finally, at last, after years and years and years, you can actually see Llwyn Celyn coming back to life. And until now, it's been a massive sort of leap of imagination, really, thinking that this could be possible. And today, it's actually real. And it feels like that the beginning has ended, and we're on towards the end.
It's late summer 2017, 1 year before Llwyn Celyn is due to open. An army of over 100 craftsmen and contractors, including 6 stonemasons, 6 carpenters, and 2 plasterers, have been working to preserve and restore one of Wales's finest surviving medieval houses.
It just looks absolutely different. It's like a sort of butterfly coming out of its chrysalis. We took this building on more than 5 years ago, and we've worked so hard on it, raising the money and figuring out how to do the works and making the case for it, but we never actually really seen it because it's been under the scaffolding the whole time.
Until recently, Llwyn Celyn has been used as a farmhouse. Situated in over 20 acres of land, along with the main building, there are 4 outhouses and 2 substantial barns. Like all Landmark Trust buildings, Llwyn Celyn will become a place where guests can stay. And today, Anna has come to meet the project's furnishing manager, John Evitts, to see how the restoration is progressing.
Why don't you come and have a look at the ceiling, because it's looking fantastic, and I'm so pleased with it. And I'm sure
Together, they are doing everything they can to make the building comfortable for modern guests, whilst also preserving the building's amazing original features.
So don't look at it, don't look at anything, don't look at anything, just look at the ceiling.
Okay.
Many rooms have barely been touched, but in the master bedroom, the ceiling is getting some special treatment.
Oh my goodness, it looks amazing. I can see why you wanted to come up here. So you're copying what we had in that little section?
Basic wooden mould, that's all it was.
Is that what you're doing it with?
That's an oak wooden mould. If you run your fingers in there, if you come out, yeah. See
yes. So that's how they do it. Is that? I didn't even know that. Did you know that?
That's
brilliant.
See, can you feel it?
Yes.
How they fit in there?
Using a wooden mould like this is a technique common to the medieval period. It's designed to match a piece of decoration that has survived for centuries on one of the original beams, and offers a priceless clue as to the status of the first owner of the building.
This is part of what tells us that this is not just a bog standard building, because somebody was going to quite significant lengths to create a decorative treatment on the ceiling that made this into a special space. And so all of these things matter because they are evidence of what this building was about and what people did here and what they invested in it.
Llwyn Celyn will have a dining room, sitting room and kitchen, along with 4 bedrooms and bathrooms. This room was originally the solar, a luxurious private space used by the medieval master of the house. Now it will be the master bedroom, where modern visitors can once again appreciate the same decorative details and views that were first enjoyed by the house's original owners over 600 years ago.
Gosh, there's going to be a fight over who gets to sleep in this bedroom, isn't there, when people stay here?
This could be mine.
So presumably you're having the bed here, John, are you?
Yeah.
This will be great, because you'll be able to lie in bed here.
That's it.
So here we are in bed, and you'll be able to get these absolutely brilliant views from your pillow as you're drinking your cup of tea.
John is tasked with finding the right balance between furnishing the interior of Llwyn Celyn in a way that lets people enjoy staying in a place of historic interest, but also provides all the mod cons required by a modern guest. He's worked for the Trust for over 40 years, and at his storeroom in Devon has already stockpiled some furniture that could work in Llwyn Celyn.
So this is some oak furniture I bought in a house about 8 or 10 years ago, which I've just stored here. And this is really quite exciting. I've got no idea what I've got here. All the way through, I am imagining it furnished the way I want it to be and picturing pieces of furniture that I have in stock in certain positions. And so by the time I actually get there, I've got a pretty good idea of what it's going to look like.
John will furnish Llwyn Celyn in harmony with the building's location and history. The Welsh climate has ensured an abundant supply of hardwoods, particularly oak or ash, from which furniture was traditionally made. Hand-carved by local craftsmen, over time oak takes on a darker shade, and so John wants to furnish Llwyn Celyn with dark wooden furniture to match the existing oak structures.
Things, for instance, like this chair, which would go really well in the solar bedroom, and is quite a nice early chair. Oops, what you said? There you are, you see. Was quite a nice early chair. As a bedside table. Look at the colour of it. Anyway, it's very nice, and that will certainly go to Llwyn Celyn, no question. When you walk into one of my buildings, you should not think, gosh, that's a wonderful piece of furniture. You should think, gosh, that's a wonderful building. Got it?
With 4 bedrooms, a dining room, and a living room still to furnish, John has many more pieces to find. Llwyn Celyn is the Landmark Trust's most ambitious project to date, and will be its 200th renovation. But it's just one example of the kind of buildings they preserve. Today, Anna is on her way for a final check of Cottage in Snowdonia, the latest property to be furnished by John.
This is a new departure for us. We've got buildings that you can only get to by boat, by helicopter, and in one case, if it's high tide, you can only get there by swimming. But this is the first place we've ever taken on where the main way of getting there is by steam train.
The Festiniog Railway once transported slate down from the mountains, and Cottage was built in 1863 as a home for the line manager. Just like Llwyn Celyn, it was on the verge of ruin.
This is a very modest little building compared to a lot of the projects that we do, but in its way, it's as interesting and as revealing as something that's much, much grander.
As with Llwyn Celyn, John has put great emphasis on decorating the interior in keeping with the building's original purpose and history.
One of the things we always try and do when we're furnishing buildings is to make sure that the things we do to them, the things we put in them, reflect the particular history, interests, locality of that one place. So this is going to be really important when we come to the final stages of the Llwyn Celyn project.
For Anna, rescuing sites such as Llwyn Celyn and Cottage is not about restoring old buildings. It's about preserving our links to our forefathers.
Because the thing is about these places is that they are the past and they are still here. They are our memory. They are who our fathers were, our grandfathers, our great-grandfathers. They're where we've come from. They're where we belong to, how we've changed. The past isn't gone, it's still here. It's still here, you can still touch it. But it's fragile and you can lose it. And when you lose a building, an important building like this, you can't get it back. It's gone forever, and your ability to touch the lives, the experience, the sensation, the world of our ancestors is gone. So, to my mind, it matters, because when we lose that, we lose a line of communication that we can never get back.
Coed y Bleiddiau has been preserved for future generations, but Llwyn Celyn remains a work in progress. During 2 years of renovation, important discoveries have provided clues to Llwyn Celyn's history and have gone some way to vindicating Anna's belief that this really is a building worth preserving. Now, a stonemason stripping back layers of old plaster in the Great Hall has discovered a medieval feature hidden for centuries.
Oh my goodness, look at that. So that doorway, we just didn't know it was there.
Once again, Llwyn Celyn gives up its secrets when least expected.
So it was completely hidden underneath all of that. You couldn't see it was there at all. It's too good to be true, really, because it looks so kind of wonderfully, convincingly medieval. It looks like a doorway in Camelot or something.
The discovery answers a question that has long puzzled Anna and the team.
I've stood in this room and the room next door on about 6 occasions talking about how do we think people got upstairs. We scratched our chins and we talked about, was there a ladder or was there an internal staircase? Just couldn't work it out. In the end, we thought there just must have been a small internal staircase. And now we've got that door, which probably led to an external staircase that went upstairs. So it's eureka.
In the 15th century, there was no first floor in the Great Hall. And it may be that the owner wanted to avoid spoiling the hall's size and proportions by installing a staircase within the room. So the rediscovered doorway would have led to exterior wooden stairs that led up to the master bedroom in the solar.
It's so exciting finding this, because the thing about this room is, I remember when we first brought people here and saying, this was the Great Hall. And you went into a room which basically looked quite like a sort of common or garden sitting room.
Slowly, the story of the Great Hall is being unravelled. But as autumn turns to winter, the pressure's on the army of craftsmen to get Llwyn Celyn ready for the next chapter in its history. Llwyn Celyn is a Grade 1 listed medieval building saved by conservation charity the Landmark Trust, who are transforming it into a unique holiday home. As the house is made comfortable for future guests, evidence from Llwyn Celyn's past 600 years is being painstakingly preserved. A great example of this is the floor of the downstairs bedroom. Director of the Trust, Anna Kay, is here to see how it's working.
We are just off the Great Hall here, and this was one of the rooms where we've had to do quite a big thing, which is to lower the floors.
The medieval ceiling beams sat only 5'8" off the floor, far too low for a modern bedroom.
So we took up all the flagstones. They're all here around me. They've all been numbered, so they've all got chalk numbering on them, one by one, to record where they were. And now the flagstones are being beautifully repositioned where they once were.
This laborious process is carried out across the entire ground floor, as each of the original sandstone floor tiles is painstakingly lifted, repaired, and cleaned. The floor levels are dropped and the walls underpinned. The tiles are then carefully returned to their original positions, where they've lain for nearly 600 years.
Once you've jointed it and you sweep it off, of course it's satisfying, you know, you're leaving sort of history behind you. You know, hopefully it'll be there for the next 100 or so years.
It's quite a change to the building to make these floors lower, but we had to weigh up whether it was more important to have the floors at the historical levels, in which case we wouldn't be able to use these rooms because the ceilings were too low, or whether it was more important to keep the flags and everything in the right positions, but just to buy ourselves a bit more space so we could use it. And that's what we've done.
Elsewhere, conservation carpenter Simon Bufton is repairing and recreating many of the wood features such as the beams and doorways with hand tools, just like they would have centuries ago.
I like putting things back together that's broken or rotted away, or returning it to what it was before it's either got damaged or the damp, or even the rats chewed it. Can you see the bottom? A genuine Llwyn Celyn rat, that.
The idea is to both celebrate the original oak that has survived, but not to hide the new, which will help tell the story of the house's restoration. As the Great Hall is being renovated, John is looking for a dining table that is in keeping with this medieval space. One of Llwyn Celyn's original dining tables recently appeared at auction. It was over 13 foot long and nearly 3 foot wide. It had 6 square section legs that would have been hand-carved with basic 17th century tools, and its table surface was made from just one plank of oak. It had been used at Llwyn Celyn from the 1690s to the 1950s, but sold for over £40,000, well outside John's budget. Finally, after months searching antique fairs and markets across the UK for the perfect alternative, John gets some good news.
I've been looking for a 10 to 12 foot 16th, 17th century oak refectory table to make a statement in the main hall. It's proved very, very difficult indeed. But now I've been sent a photograph of one which a dealer friend of mine has bought in East Anglia.
And what's so special about this table?
Well, apart from being 300 years old. Things like this don't come on very often, and when they do, you've got to move on it. The hall table, the dining table, is the key piece in the house. I'm running out of time to find one if this one doesn't cut it.
John needs to find something that has enough historic provenance to justify its place in a medieval hall, but is strong and sturdy enough for modern daily use. Tables of this age and size aren't easy to find and can cost thousands.
But I'm hoping that I can gently persuade him to be a little less ambitious about it, but we'll see. I know Andy well enough. He'll tear my arm off and hit me with a soggy bit, I expect. Hi, Andy.
John. All right.
Come on then, let's have a look, let's have a look, let's have a look.
Is that big enough for you? Isn't that lovely?
I think it's fantastic.
At 12 foot long and well over 300 years old, this table is as close to the original as John is likely to find.
I love it. I think it's a great table.
Well, you would, you're selling it.
I'm going to be biased, aren't I? Yes, but the thing is, John, I didn't buy it especially to sell it to you. You know, there's other clients out there.
One thing that is particularly nice about this table is that it isn't pristine. It has been used, it's had a life. Whether it's in a college or a monastery or wherever it has had a life, and it is bearing the scars of that life. And it wears it proudly on its sleeve. Well, I suppose you and I have got to have a little chat.
It won't take long.
No, I don't expect. Come and step into my office a minute.
With a price running into thousands, John and Andy don't want to discuss money on camera. This could be John's last chance to get the key piece of furniture for Llwyn Celyn.
Happy then?
Mm-hmm.
Thanks for the deal.
Mm-hmm.
John has secured a table that is in keeping with the Great Hall, where Llwyn Celyn's early inhabitants would have dined in a building where hand-carved oak was not only a key structural material, but also a decorative feature. For Anna and the Landmark Trust, it's not just about renovating buildings, it's about uncovering and recording their histories, so that their structure and stories are preserved for the future. Anna and the team have already discovered that Llwyn Celyn was built in 1420, but they still do not know who it was built for. It sits in a commanding position at the foot of the Black Mountains, only a couple of miles from the English border, and just a few miles from the imposing Llanthony Priory.
Although there's loads we don't know about Llwyn Celyn, one thing we do know, which is that it was built on the lands of this priory. So whatever its origins were, whatever its beginnings were, they were somehow connected with here.
Anna has a theory that the prior himself may have used it as a second official residence. As in 1420, very few others would have had the money to build something as imposing as Llwyn Celyn. If they can discover who he was, they may have the name of Llwyn Celyn's very first occupant. Their quest for answers has led them to Bodleian Library in Oxford, where Landmark Trust historian Caroline Stanford has been combing 700-year-old archives looking for evidence of the prior.
Hi, Caroline.
How are you?
Yes, well, thank you.
Oh, here we are again.
But finding his name has not been easy. The early 15th century was an unstable time in the British Isles.
The problem is that the documentary records for the period are really scarce. The early 1400s leading up to 1420 is a period of incredible upheaval and devastation in Wales.
In the 1400s, Owain Glyndŵr led a Welsh uprising against the English. The land on which Llwyn Celyn sits was on the front line.
And you get a sense in the documents of kind of almost mounting panic. And so it gets to the point where the monks have to abandon the priory.
So they abandon ship.
They abandon ship.
Because Glyndŵr's people
have
lands.
presumably looted the priory and so on, and have swept through.
Anna thinks Llwyn Celyn's original owner could have been the head of the priory, who returned shortly after these troubled times. There are some tantalizing leads.
So we've got the list of the priors here. We've got just a simple John in 1310, but then it says, here there is a chasm. And then some names plucked out of somewhere, but dates unknown.
Cross-referencing dozens of old books and archives has finally given Caroline some answers.
We have 1396 to 1404, John de Wellington.
So he must have been the one who did the fleeing.
Then in 1415, up pops William Crump. He seems to be the prior most likely to have been at the priory at the point at which Llwyn Celyn is built, on his priory lands. So probably he's the person most likely to have ordered, or at least approved, the building of Llwyn Celyn.
William Crump. I love his name. I love the fact he's got this very unexpectedly folksy name.
Anna and her team have spent over 3 years trying to solve the mysteries of who built Llwyn Celyn. This is as close as they will get to identifying his name.
We've come so far with this building. Until recently, we didn't have a date, we didn't have any kind of sense of context in which it was built. Now we have a definite date. We have a theory, a hypothesis about why it was built, and now we have a possible name. William Crump, Prior Crump, might just have been the man who built Llwyn Celyn. So it's as if an incredibly murky picture is gradually coming into clearer and clearer focus, and the whole early story of Llwyn Celyn is beginning to make sense.
Just as the renovation begins to take shape, so too does the building's story emerge from the past. The race is on to finish the restoration of Llwyn Celyn, a rare Welsh medieval hall house.
Morning. How are you?
I'm good, thank you.
After years of painstaking research, Anna and her team have discovered that it was built in 1420, perhaps by Prior William Crump of nearby Llanthony Priory. Anna now wants to find out more about the lives of its subsequent owners, people who made substantial changes to the layout of the house. When it was first built in 1420, the main room of the house was a double-height great hall. Now, scientific dating has revealed that the first floor was made by timber felled in about 1690, creating 2 rooms where once there was one. A fireplace and chimney were also added, along with a kitchen on the back. The original 1690s oak floorboards have been carefully repaired, where possible, and new boards used when not. But John is concerned how the floor looks.
In order to do a really good repair on these, you'd have to lift them, and if you'd lifted them, you'd have broken
You'd lose them, yeah.
So they've done these repairs, which I think are the best they could do, but it does look very odd. They just do stand out too much.
As part of their conservation philosophy, Anna and John try to preserve as many of the original features and materials as possible, while not disguising any modern repairs or renovations.
But I think also it's slightly the price you pay, isn't it, for the trouble and care we've taken to hang on to these old boards. I mean, we could have saved ourselves the conundrum by just saying, well, let's just take them all up, they're all a bit kind of beaten up. But actually, it's so wonderful that they're still here and we have kept them.
Well, nobody but the most committed Philistine could have taken this up, could they?
No, exactly. This is where you see the difficulty of our philosophy, in a way. Obviously, the roof structure, you can see it beautifully in saying where we put something new in.
I'm not sure that staining it is going to resolve the problem. And I think the best thing to do is to cover them with a sisal carpet of some sort, sisal rug. So this crease here will be covered.
Yeah. You'll lose some of the kind of crazy paving effect that we've got at the moment with just the old new. Yeah. Just from a totally practical point of view, you'll be dropping your peanuts through, landing on the head of your friends downstairs at the dining table.
In 1420, Prior Crump built Llwyn Celyn with no first floor. But 270 years later, someone decided to insert this new floor and convert the building from an open hall into a two-storey dwelling. So who were these owners who transformed the building in the 1690s? Caroline Stanford has been going through the land records and archives. Her quest has brought her to St Martin's Church in Cwm, where members of the Watkins family are buried. She and Anna believe it was they who put the first floor into Llwyn Celyn's hall and developed it into the farmhouse that it is today.
Hello.
Hi, Anna.
Nice seeing you.
Yes.
Rising from a grave.
Well, I'm feeling rather excited, actually, because I found a William Watkin.
Is it our William Watkin?
Well, it says, in memory of William Watkin, who died April ye 21st, 1748, aged 73.
So could he have been the man who was responsible for all the new building, or do the dates work for that?
So, yeah, this William could have been responsible for at least some of the building, because it must have taken quite a long time to do all the work that they did at Llwyn Celyn.
Yes.
Caroline's meticulous research is paying off.
So the nice thing is that we're now in the realms, state-wise, of actually knowing for sure who owned Llwyn Celyn at different moments, aren't we?
Yeah, exactly. And the Watkins are the key family. They take the lease on in 1656 and they then farm the site for over 100 years and prosper there. But then when you'd really made it, you could be inside, and inside there's an even better one.
Oh, great. Should we go and have a look?
Llanthony Priory still owned Llwyn Celyn at this stage, but the Watkins family had a copyhold lease for the property and land, with rent capped at 8 pence a year. Cheap even then, the lease lasted 4 generations, enabling the family to thrive.
Here we are on the south wall. We find Job Watkin of Llwyn
Celyn. There it is. Gosh, there's no ambiguity in that, is there?
And he's a gent.
Gent. So that really means something, doesn't it? It's not like today where, everyone, you can put Esquire after everybody's name on envelopes. I mean, it really meant something to be gent.
Something that he was
you were a person
gentry,
who could, he was have a coat of arms, and you were of a certain status.
Absolutely.
You weren't a yeoman, you were someone of the sort of polite classes.
Polite classes, and so he dies on August ye 2nd, 1756, aged 60. So he would have been born in 1696, yes.
So he was, bawling his first, breath as those buildings were being built at Llwyn Celyn.
In all the chaos,
Yes.
Poor mother.
Poor mother, can you imagine? It's typical, always when this building works.
Heavily pregnant just when this building work's going on. At least we can be really sure
about who modernised it in the 1690s and created it into the building and the site we have today.
Yes.
And the dynasty that reached its pinnacle with Mr. Job Watkins, gent of Llwyn Celyn.
Another key link in the building's history has been discovered. Anna now knows that Llwyn Celyn was built in the early 15th century, perhaps for Prior Crump of Llanthony Priory. 270 years later, the Watkins family developed it, dividing the central hall into its current 2 stories and adding several outhouses. Now John is readying it for a new chapter. The 12-foot, 300-year-old refectory table is destined for the 17th century room created by William Watkins. But there's a problem.
But the only way to get it in is through the window. I'm just looking at it and thinking, it's going to be quite interesting.
SB. Okay.
Not too high now.
Just mind the top.
Too high. Not too high. Just cram it.
Some inside now. Some inside.
Keep the balance, boys. Keep the balance.
1, 2, 3.
Oh, great. Oh, that was great, thank you. It's the first bit of furniture in. I mean, the rest is going to be easy. The rest is downhill after this, isn't it? It just looks fantastic, doesn't it?
With the table in place and the main hall beginning to resemble the dining room that was used for centuries, John has just a few weeks to furnish the rest of the house before the Prince of Wales arrives for its official opening. Llwyn Celyn has 18 windows that will all need curtains. It's a landmark tradition that curtains are handmade using details unique to the property's history. So John is meeting designer Duncan Tattersall at another landmark trust property, Woodspring Priory, to discuss fabrics.
These were designed based on some tiles that we found here. I mean, they just are wonderful, aren't they?
Yeah, I think they're particularly striking design, actually.
You get these areas where the ink isn't quite so intense.
Well, it sort of adds to the very handmade quality,
Well,
doesn't it?
it's kind of the homespun thing, isn't it?
Yeah.
So what we've got to do is identify a motif that we can use.
With there being not very much detail in the building itself, we sort of need to look a bit further beyond that and perhaps into elements of its history to draw on for the design for Llwyn Celyn.
Back at Llwyn Celyn, Duncan can look for inspiration.
The design for the curtains, it's about getting something quite strong and bold, but equally something that is going to sit comfortably in its surroundings and not jar with the building, but certainly something with some real relevance to this place and its story.
And for every window, John will also need curtain poles. So, in keeping with his handcrafted ethos, he's turned to blacksmith Chris Hunting.
If they're doing a property that needs hand-forged items, whatever it is, you can't buy it off the shelf, can you? So they've got to get it made. You can't really go into a hardware shop and buy, not to suit the period of the property. Well, this is just one of the basic shapes to form a square point. If you go on a blacksmithing course, this would be one of the first things that you'd be taught. So this is purely by eye. I'm just going to guess. 44 years ago I started. I've just done it for so long, it's second nature, I suppose. I mean, my favourite work is restoration work or making and fitting like Georgian-style railings. I mean, that's what rocks my boat.
Chris is basing his design on an old curtain pole and bracket that had been at Llwyn Celyn for centuries.
This is one that we took off a site years ago, so it's a very old idea. It's so simple. You wouldn't find two that are identical because they're handmade. If you wanted them all identical, you'd have them made in a machine, not made by hand. And there you are, that's the finished product. It's Quite simple.
Many of the house's fixtures and fittings are being handmade off-site at John's workshops. Beau Bolton is converting old candle chandeliers into electric lights.
Just putting bungs in here in order to fix electrical units into the old candle holder bits, so they stay upright like that.
The idea is to provide traditional design, but with a modern purpose.
There's nothing like a deadline to concentrate the mind.
John is still selecting pictures, furniture, and rugs.
Oddly enough, I need quite a few rugs that are wider than usual. God, I have got some moth in here.
Some time in the freezer will kill off these unwanted guests.
There you are. See how you like it in there, matey.
The Landmark Trust has spent nearly 3 years and £4.5 million dragging Llwyn Celyn back from the brink of collapse. Now the race is on to complete the final repairs and make the last finishing touches before the Prince of Wales arrives to open the building in a few weeks' time. Duncan has the job of designing and making the curtains. He's taking inspiration from Llwyn Celyn's history and has incorporated 14th century images taken from Llanthony Priory.
What I think is particularly nice about hand screen printing are the imperfections and those characteristics really that show themselves, that each block of the design has been placed by hand. More life to it, I think, really, than something that's very rigid and processed. So it seems to be a process that sits very comfortably alongside the sort of traditional carpentry and stone masonry, which gives the building its integrity.
Restoring Llwyn Celyn has not just been about renovating the building. Throughout the project, the team have been trying to identify the people who lived here and understand the lives they lived at key points in history. Now historian Caroline Stanford is here to meet one of its oldest surviving residents.
Come and see the outbuildings and everything, and the house itself.
John Gilden lived in Llwyn Celyn as an evacuee from Folkestone during World War II, a time when it was a working farm.
I was taught how to milk a cow. Pretty certain there were milked in there, crossed over to the dairy there, where they just cleaned the milk with a filter, and it was put then in the churns.
Collected by what, a milk lorry or?
No, milk lorry, yes.
Yes.
John was taken in by farmers Jack and Gladys Jasper. The Jasper family and their relations, the Powells, were the house's last great farming dynasty, arriving in 1854 and working the land for a century and a half.
That's where we washed.
And cold water or?
Oh, cold water, of course. Came out of the hills, see. What a transformation of a place that was, well, just an ordinary farmhouse, a bit run-down farmhouse.
The Powells continued to farm the land until 2012, when the last remaining brothers sold the property to the trust. John's big day has finally come. He's been thinking about how to furnish Llwyn Celyn for years, and now he has just a couple of weeks to do it before the Prince of Wales arrives.
What? Just put it down there. That one is going up there against the end wall there. Go! It doesn't matter how many plans you do, you never put anything where you think you're going to. It all gets used, but it doesn't quite often go where one intended.
Let's put it in there.
Okay, go.
Moving furniture about is one thing, but many light fittings still need to be made and installed. The rugs are now moth-free and can be laid. Mark is here to fit contemporary handcrafted wooden kitchen units into a 17th century space.
That's what these buildings are all about, isn't it, really? I mean, it's all about craftsmanship over hundreds of years.
The curtain poles have arrived and can be installed, along with the specialist printed fabric.
Yeah, I think they look the job.
Still got another van load of furniture to come, and which means endless polishing.
You're never there until you're in the van home. And you're thinking, right, the next person into this building is going to be a guest. That's when you've finished. I mean, there is still a load to do.
In 2015, Llwyn Celyn was a perilous ruin. Much of its ancient past, a mystery. The roof was on the brink of collapse, walls were crumbling, and upstairs was inhabited by rare bats. Lovingly restored over 3 years into a unique holiday home, its past is secured for the future.
I've been walking across this field, visiting this site, for 6 years now, and finally we're almost done. John has just finished furnishing the house, which is always such an exciting phase. I'm really looking forward to seeing that. And if all is well, we're all set for the Prince of Wales coming next week.
Right.
Hi.
Hi, Anna, how are you doing?
How are you? Still standing?
Yeah, just about. It's been a long haul.
Yeah, gosh, it looks so different just even standing here, doesn't it?
I know, it's very white, isn't it?
It is.
Here's a table.
My goodness, look at the size of it. Something about seeing it in the space. It
I know.
looks sort of imperial, doesn't it?
In the dining room, the ancient stone floor has been relaid. And diners also have use of the rediscovered fireplace.
Have you tried lighting it?
Not yet, no. Well, it's kind of been too warm.
I know, exactly.
The room also showcases the medieval doorway that once led upstairs to the solar. Now, a glorious bedroom.
Oh, this is lovely. Gosh, it's big again, isn't it? I mean,
It
it
is,
feels
they
like
are
the
huge.
building's sort of grown since I was last here.
It's very, very strange.
I love this sort of slightly turquoisey blue. It's really nice.
Llwyn Celyn is Welsh for holly bush, so Duncan has included images of holly. The rediscovered medieval window and seat frame a timeless view of Wales once again.
Oh, it looks lovely sitting here. Got all this lovely light. And you do get a sense now sitting here that it was the special, high status, important room in the building.
Llwyn Celyn has a few modern features.
You're going to be happy in that bath, aren't you?
Because you want somewhere to put your G&T, don't you?
Yes!
Your telegraph crossword.
Well, you could have that, yeah.
The beating historical heart of the house is the living room, with its wonderfully restored medieval roof.
It's lovely being up inside the roof, isn't it? Inside the structure. And then when you're, sitting down here with a glass of wine of an evening, oh, that's pretty nice, isn't it? In a way, this room is the whole point of everything, because it's the one place where you get a sense of what the building was all about.
Bought with no certainty of its age, who had lived here, or what it really looked like, the house is now saved for future generations.
And you do really feel sitting here now that it is like you've been sort of transported back to the beginning of this building. It was a lot like this.
It was.
And it was here, and it was this
Yeah.
spot, and that view, and this place. We'll be a sort of community.
The Prince of Wales was at Llwyn Celyn at the beginning of the project. Now, he returns at the end.
To be able to access a time that has gone many centuries ago is a magical thing. Knowing what's gone into saving that building, to make it possible for the voices of people 600 years ago to be passed on to the people in the future in 600 years' time. So there's a kind of a chain there, and it was about to break, and the ability for the future to access that point of the past would be lost, and we've somehow forged it all back together. And this just feels so brilliant that this project should have been so much about everybody coming together to save something old and dilapidated simply because it matters. We pulled it off. And I kind of can't really believe it.